So the wild hair I had was I was in New York for a conference and to see some shows with some friends. And of course, it was a group of writers and people that were connected to creativity. So what happens when you're in a room full of creatives? You get creative. So I decided, why should I fly back to Vegas to go back to Chicago to go to the DNC? So what did I do? I hired a driver to take us from New York to Chicago. And the us, my friend Diane Innes, who I was in a creative writing class with, decided, hey, I recently lost my job. And I just started working for the Democratic headquarters in Georgia, another fantastic swing state. So Diane and I set out on our journey from New York to Chicago.
My world is a safe place, and good things happen to me all the time. Sure, bad things also happen. But if you remember that good things happen, you look for them anywhere. And so even in moments like this, there can be moments of serendipity that we're not expecting. And we can find a moment of magic. And you can't make it. You can't force it. So though we have an idea of what we hope to accomplish when we're taking this ride, we're going to have moments like, oh my gosh, Vyas is going to take us to Ohio, and wouldn't you know his wife is in Ohio? Or Diane and Bryce happened to be sitting in the audience at the same time and decided that they were going to do something. We couldn't have planned those things. So if it's to happen, I think we will find the person or the moment or the idea as it happens and be able to find meaning and make meaning from what we've experienced as we're going along the drive.
We had no concept of where we'd stop. We just had this great driver who was from Pakistan, who, oddly enough, and as the world would have it, his wife lived in Ohio. So the reason he picked up the fare was he could drive us from New York to Chicago and come back through Ohio and spend time with his wife. So we had quite lively conversations that we'll share with you on that drive. So it's not up to any one party, it's up to all of us together. And I think that's where the defeat comes from. Because I say this election is not just necessarily won, but no matter the outcome, the conversations we're having now, or the conversations we're having at the dinner table with our family who doesn't believe like we do, because we have family on all sides of the coin. But growing up with that well-rounded look at the country, you want to go back to that discourse. I think people want to go back to a Republican Party that is willing to have a debate, not have a run you over with their thought process. And us too. We don't want to run people over with social programs they're not ready to take on, but we've built these things up over time. If it was gay rights and marriage, it was over time. It wasn't in your face. But we've just never been used to having these conversations. And now with social media and people having a voice, everyone's trying to have the conversations at the same time. Yeah. So it's running over everybody else's conversation and not becoming an effective sort of use. And so we blame these politicians for good and bad things that happen, when in reality we're blaming ourselves. We're not blaming them. They had nothing to do with it. Trump is just a mouthpiece, and sometimes his mouthpiece is really bad. And Kamala Harris is an amazing politician who has her opportunity now to be the first female, Indian, Black, Asian president. That's an amazing thing that other countries have had that opportunity that we have not. And so for me, I'm just part of a team that I believe is going to protect everyone's rights in this country, even though there is still going to be a fringe, and that's always been there. But we can educate each other on how to love one another. Like you said, we all want peace. I don't know that peace will happen for everyone all the time. It's a utopian idea to a lot of people, but overall, when you really talk to somebody, we have the same goal. And no matter what culture or nationality we come from, our inherent heart is what dictates where we're going. That was a lot.